So I take it from what you said that if people break the law, we should change the law to accommodate them? Is that your position? You said people are driving here without a license, and so we should change the law to accommodate them. Is that accurate?
No, Assemblyman, I believe we should, I believe that revising the law will make our roads safer. We're not changing the law because we feel bad for people violating the law. We're changing the law because we have people who could be eligible for us to train and test and ensure that they're safe drivers.
Well, why aren't they eligible now?
They're not eligible because the current law requires lawful presence in the U.S.
And so, through the chair, that would mean that they're here, they've broken the law to get here.
Yes.
So you're accommodating people who've broken the law.
Assemblyman, we accommodate people throughout the driver licensing process who break the law by speeding or running a red light or driving through a stop sign. We sanction people when they have broken the law. We do that. However, we continue to determine whether or not they are safe and qualified to be driving on our roads. When we determine they are unsafe to be driving, then we would suspend or revoke their license.
So you do believe in enforcing the law?
Yes, Assemblyman, I believe in enforcing the law.
Okay, so people who've broken the people who have broken the law to come to our country, we should accommodate them? Or should we enforce the law?
Assemblyman, we should enforce the law, and at times we review laws to determine whether they're accomplishing the purpose that we wish them to accomplish. The purpose of my testimony is to let you know, from my expert opinion, what will accomplish my mission of driver safety most effectively.
Through the chair, I have some real concerns about the bill doesn't provide any guidance as to what would be suitable documentation. Can you state here today definitively what will be suitable documentation to prove identity?
Assemblyman, we'll get back to you in detail on that, but I will tell you that off the top that we accept passports and birth certificates today. I can see no reason that if a consulate has validated what a valid passport or birth certificate from their country looks like, and that we can ascertain that that document is valid, that we would continue to recognize a passport or a birth certificate. That's for example.
Is that the limit, passports and birth certificates, or
no, Assemblyman?
I'm
sorry, Assemblyman. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Through the chair, is that definitive of what you'll accept, passports and birth certificates, or are you going to accept other documents as well?
Assemblyman, we do accept other documents. We accept a long list of documents that we have determined to have some value in proving identity. So that would continue to be true. As you know, we have a 6-point system, a 6-point structure, and we would require multiple documents. No single document qualifies anyone for a New Jersey driver license or ID.
Through the chair, have you read this bill? Because it says 2 forms of identification, not to 6 points, and also there's an amendment to take it down to 1 form of identification. Are you aware of that?
Excuse me, Assemblyman, we're only talking about the bill. We're not talking about any proposals that may still be floating around. They're not done, and we're still looking and accepting amendments.
Well, would you support taking it down to 1 form of identification as been proposed?
No, Assemblyman, we've never acknowledged just 1 form of identification as sufficient to issue a driver license or ID in the state of New Jersey. We will require proof of identity, proof of age, and as I understand this, the current version of the bill, proof of New Jersey residence, which is very similar to what we require today, and that would require multiple documents.
You understand this bill kind of vitiates the 6-point system?
No, Assemblyman, I don't understand that.
So it says 2 forms of identification proving that you're a New Jersey citizen. It doesn't provide that we have to follow the 6-point system. that's currently in place?
Assemblyman, I'll have to apologize that that is not the way that I understand the details of the bill, but I will say this. The bill requires us to require proof of identity, proof of age, and proof of New Jersey residence. We issue regulations that acknowledge that identify what documents will suffice to prove identity, age, and residence as the law requires. That would be multiple documents.
And if you're going to, I assume that you're going to promulgate regulations based on this bill. Will you promulgate, can you tell this committee today that you'll promulgate that'll be similar to the 6-point system that's currently in place?
Depending on the final version of the bill that the legislature passes, our intent would be to have a similar structure to the 6-point structure that has been reliable for us in the past. So we would use something very similar to that.
Now, part of the problem here is that is kind of knowing who we're issuing driver's licenses to, because the driver's license opens up all kinds of opportunities. Would this driver's license that's being proposed today allow somebody to drive a tractor trailer?
Sir, commercial driver licenses would not be addressed. That's a federal requirement for a commercial driver's license.
Okay, so they wouldn't be issued driver's license for a tractor trailer.
In any case where a commercial driver's license would be required, such as I believe you're speaking to, there are federal requirements for that, and so this would not be covered under that.
How about a school bus?
Oh, absolutely not, sir. That requires a commercial driver's license, which has federal requirements.
Could they rent a truck like they did when the first attack on the World Trade Centers? Through the chair.
And I had asked previously if anyone had any concerns, and I didn't hear from anyone from the Republican side. So how many other questions you have? Because I have a whole room, I have 3 rooms of people that want to testify.
I still got to get to voter fraud.
All right, voter fraud. Ask your question. I asked for no comments or yelling out, please.
Now, on this bill, some of these folks that are, under this bill, these folks wouldn't be permitted to be able to register to vote. How do you propose to ensure the citizens of New Jersey that people who aren't permitted to vote won't be signed up to vote under this bill?
Assemblyman, part of the automatic voter registration that Motor Vehicle Commission provides at our agencies is a verification of eligibility. We do verify eligibility before we can send that record to Division of Elections.
And who does that determination?
Well, it's part of the signature pad that you have to, it's very similar to the paper document that you sign in voter registration.
So
where you have to agree, you indicate under penalty of perjury, you indicate all of the different ways that you're eligible.
So the individual who's signing it verifies it. You don't verify.
Sir, that's how we do voter registration in the state of New Jersey.
Okay, so
whether it's at the county clerk's office or at the ShopRite where they're registering people to vote, the individual verifies under penalty of perjury. They verify that they are at least 17. They verify they're a U.S. citizen. They verify they are otherwise eligible to vote. That is how we determine eligibility. And to my knowledge, we haven't identified any real incidents of voter fraud at the polls in this state.
that wasn't my question. So nobody in
I
your,
apologize.
nobody at the motor vehicles, when somebody comes in and says, I am not a New Jersey citizen, I want to come and get a license, ensures that that person doesn't sign up to vote?
So they have to sign a document indicating, I want to register to vote,
That
and
wasn't my
indicate they're a
question.
U.S. citizen.
My question was, is there somebody at the motor vehicles, some staff member at the motor vehicles who has taken that identification, knows that that person doesn't qualify to vote, we'll check it, or we're just,
No,
you're
sir.
just going to leave it up to the county clerks? And how, and
No, sir.
make the
Motor
determination.
vehicle does not check does not check that, if
Okay.
I understand your question correctly.
sure, so nobody at motor vehicles is going to insure. So the ID,
Assemblyman, the Secretary of State verifies voters' eligibility.
sure, but if somebody is not here legally, is not a U.S. citizen, applies for a driver's license under this program, it would be very simple for the motor vehicle people to flag somebody who's not eligible to register to vote. I would think that would be common sense and to the integrity of our voting system.
No, we can discuss this further.
So,
I will contact Secretary of State to make sure you
well, I
get
asked
all
her to
the
be here,
information.
and she couldn't be here. She had something better to do than come and testify about the
Well, I do not-
integrity of
I
our
don't know
voting
the,
system.
you know, the schedule
So-
of different individuals.
Will the driver's license indicate whether somebody's here legally or not, is a U.S. citizen or not?
The standard driver license or ID would not.
And under the bill.
Correct, it would not. The real ID will indicate.
Answer the other question. Real ID will.
Correct.
But the new driver's license that we're creating will not.
Correct.
Will you be sending the documentation that was procured at the time that the standard, or whatever we're calling it, the new driver's license was created when they come into motor vehicles? Will you be sending a copy of that to the county clerk?
No, we will not.
Okay.
And we don't do that today either.
But today, we don't register people who are here, not citizens, not here legally,
Well,
correct?
actually, Assemblyman, we do. We provide driver licenses to anyone who's legally present in this country.
Legally present.
So that includes people who have temporary visas who are not eligible to vote. We provide non-driver IDs to 14, 15, 16-year-olds who are not eligible to vote. We provide documents to people who are not eligible to vote today. And the check on that is what's in the signature pad.
Sure.
Just like a paper registration, voter registration.
You issue driver's license to 14-year-olds?
No, sir, but we issue non-driver IDs.
My question was, people here illegally. That's something new.
Correct. We do not issue documents today to people who do not have lawful immigration status.
Instead of just wasting the time, I'll just ask you, and I forget, is through the chair, there's a committee or a commission that's being put together as part of this bill. Are you designated as a member of that committee?
I'm not actually sure.
It's the advisory commission.
The advisory commission.
Yes, I believe I am.
Are you? The bill, and I apologize. Okay, I found my spot. Okay. It says the purpose of the advisory board shall be to review the implementation and the provisions by the Motor Vehicle Commission in the issuance of standard and real ID basic driver's license. The advisory board shall provide guidance to the commission concerning public awareness, education of the difference between a real and standard driver's license, and how to obtain a standard and real ID driver's license. In your professional opinion as being the head of the Motor Vehicle Commission, do you think that that commission's authority should be expanded to review security as to identification and who is being issued a driver's license and voter fraud?
Assemblyman, we rely heavily on our partners at Homeland Security and the Division of Elections and the State Department on those issues. I don't have an opinion on whether that should be added to the advisory board or not.